What's up, my brothers? What's up, my brothers? I want to welcome you to another episode of the Marcus Stewart podcast. Um, First off, I want to say thank y'all for watching. I appreciate you. Send this video to somebody who you think it'll help. Today, I got a real good episode for all of my brothers. We're gonna talk about this episode. I mean, this topic. We're gonna talk about this topic. It's called mental health for men, and we talking about how to master your mentals. And so I thought this would be a really good topic, man. I know a whole lot of guys, and one of the reasons why I started my channel is because I wanted to just be able to give something to the men. I see a whole lot of channels for women. They have a whole lot of groups and things like that for women who deal with stuff and go through stuff, but I don't really see a lot of that for men. And so I think a lot of times we as men we struggle in silence. So today's episode, we're gonna talk about like some of the triggers that we deal with, the signs and the symptoms you could be having mental health issues and not realize it or recognize it. And then I'm going to give you four simple things that you could do to help you to master your mentals. All right. So I want to start off with that we as men, man, we deal with a lot of stuff. We do internally. And I think it's that way because the kind of culture that we live in, the kind of culture that we live in frowns upon men who, have emotions. And look, this is in no way or means one of them podcasts that tell me to be crying everywhere. No, man, no, this ain't one of them episodes that tell men, you know, you got to be in your feelings all the time, tapping into your feminine energy. This ain't one of those, bro. This ain't one of those. This is one of those telling you how to handle your mentals, how to handle your emotions as a man. I think one of the things society tells frowns on men who have emotions, but then we don't have enough men who demonstrate, portray how to have emotions in a manly way. You know what I'm saying? So most of the time we hide them, or we don't know how to handle it. And so yeah, a lot of times the society and sometimes it be women, make brothers feel like we not supposed to feel, or like we supposed to be a man means like you just supposed to take what everybody give you and it's okay. You're just supposed to let women do whatever they want to do to you, say whatever they want to say to you, and you're supposed to be able to handle it. Like you are supposed to be the man, and we have this idea of what a man is supposed to be. But in reality, I'm a man, but sometimes, bruh, I be getting annoyed. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, like, nah, I don't feel like doing that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I mean, I know I got my responsibilities, but sometimes I just don't be feeling like it. Sometimes I do be overwhelmed, and that's okay to say that. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to reach this certain point to where you just get to the point where you like, you're not trying to fake it for nobody. You know what I'm saying? You're not trying to act like you this or that. Sometimes you just don't feel like it, and you ain't got to be an a-hole about it. But you know, this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do the episode, because a lot of times we as men, man, we struggle in silence. We hold it in, thinking that that's what you're supposed to do. Just hold it in until you implode or explode, and that ain't the right way to do it, but that's what we are taught, especially for those of us, I had a relationship with my pop, right? And it was a good relationship, but a lot of things that I was into he wasn't into, like personal growth. This is one of the reasons why I started the channel too. um like personal growth, like doing my mental checkups, certain things about growing myself and learning myself, and you know establishing certain. Now, one of the things he did do, and this is what we're gonna talk about today, is he made sure that me and my brothers, we was locked in, so we wouldn't be struggling in silence. And he was one of those men that just did the best he could, but he struggled in silence. He held a lot of it in. And you know what? This, it's sad, bro. But in reality, more men die earlier than the women. It's true, because we hold stuff in, and Pop ended up getting congestive heart failure. And bro, think about that though. Think about that. How many brothers do you know that have heart problems, high blood pressure, right? Like hypertension, stress, these stress related things, man. And it be because we strong for everybody else, but we breaking on the inside. And that's one of those things, man, that we gotta talk about. So this that's what this episode is about, man. Breaking out of those societal expectations, you know, the pressures and stuff that we as men deal with, expressing that like bruh, you deal with a lot, homie. Look, I'm gonna give you an example. For women to not have a job or to be staying with their mom, it's understandable, right? Same scenario for a dude, we get criticized for it. It's like we get criticized for having hard times, whereas women they get sympathized. And I'm not here to harp on that, but I'm just saying how society views us and how we internalize these things, frowning on ourselves. Now let me say this: I'm not a vindicate for a man and I have a job. You need to have a job, but there'll be times, right, in your life that stuff just happen, and sometimes you can project that onto yourself, like, oh, I'm not this or I'm not that, or it make you feel some certain type of way. And that's why the first thing we're gonna talk about is the triggers, man. The triggers, man. It can be triggered by these external stressors, like an annoying boss that makes your job harder for no reason. Not having a job, not being able to bring money in like you feel like you need to, not being able to take care of your family like you feel like you need to, financial issues, having a job but not having enough money, you know, having a rocky relationship with a woman. I can tell you this: a lot of the mental health issues that I talk to with men, especially the young ones, relationships, bruh, like relationships with their women, relationships with their mama or their daddy. It be relationship troubles. A lot of them is finances, though. I ain't gonna lie, but some of the triggers, man, that trigger it off, and then so I want you to think about this, my brother, because sometimes you can be showing signs and symptoms that you're dealing with it, but you just trained yourself that this is how men's supposed to handle it, right? And so, believe it or not, like I had, a couple of episodes back, my son was on the episode, and he was talking about how when he was young, he had depression, and I couldn't believe that. Like I was really, I know young people have emotions, right? But like depression was one of them. It blew my mind. And bro, I was talking to a friend of mine, and he was talking to his son, and one of the reasons why he started to really like pay attention and start to really like kind of lock in with his son made me to start doing the same thing with mine. Is like, you know, he realized that his son was dealing with like depression, but the way he realized is because his son was real like he would like he would crash out real quick. He would get real mad over like simple stuff. He would like over respond to stuff that wasn't really that serious. And instead of him like jabbing back at it, and this is why it's good to have these talks with other fathers, and man, because being a daddy is hard, but he started to recognize, like, bro, it maybe it's something else. Maybe it's something else. And that's why I'm saying that to you, because sometimes you might have depression, right? But it comes off as you being irritable, or it comes out as you being angry. You might be frustrated, right, with one area of your life, and then it make you like be angry in like all areas of your life. Or like, rather than you just feeling some type of way, you feel like you want to like do something destructive, or like, bruh, I can tell you, but there have been times. How many times have you done this? There have been times when I was heartbroken, right? Me and my girl, we broke up, and then I go to work and my attitude would be stupid. That's one of them signs, bro. That's one of them signs. How many times, bro, you and your girl get into it, and instead of you just leaving that where it's at, you angry the whole day, but really it's not anger, bro. You really just in your feelings. And I get it. This is what I'm saying. I get it. but that's one of those, that's one of those signs and symptoms that you could be having some, some mental health issues. And I want to differentiate because, you can have emotions. We all have emotions. But when you start to get violent, when you start to like have destructive behavior and destructive patterns, you start to become verbally abusive, these are signs and symptoms, bro. You probably could be dealing with some mental health issues. Like it's probably, and the big one, the major ones, and you'll be surprised how many people around you as a man, bro, how many young men, how many men that are your age, older men, deal with um violent behavior, but violent internally, like want to hurt themselves or want to do something to themselves. Look, when I was young, I would never forget one of the guys, man. He was married to one of my cousins, killed himself. That shook us. We didn't understand why. Like, why would we was real young? We was like 8 or 9. Why would this man want to just? Why would he want to shoot himself? Like, why would he? Why would he do that? Only to grow up and to realize, like, man, these these internal pressures, bruh. And one of the ways that you can know that you having a sign or a symptom that you may be having some mental health issues is this destructive and violent behavior, but internally. It starts with thoughts. Like it starts with thoughts. Having these thoughts that you are not this, you will never have that, you'll never be that, you'll never accomplish this, you'll always be sad or whatever. It starts as thoughts. But the thing is that's a sign. That's a sign that it could be something, you know what I'm saying, deeper. Here's another one. Substance abuse. I say this a lot because you that's a sign. That's a sign. That could be a sign, an external trigger. Um, Alcohol, weed, coke. People go to crack, but that's like extreme, right? But you get the point. That's a sign that there could be something mental going on, and sometimes we do it to escape. Like you drink to escape how you feeling, or you smoke to take your mind off what you may be feeling or what you may be thinking. It's like I always ask people who have chronic, like if you smoke all the time, right? Or if you drink all the time, I always ask, what are you what feelings are you trying to get away from? Like what thoughts are you trying to quiet in your mind? It's really sometimes it's a sign and a symptom that there are a lot of underlying issues. And at the core of it, a lot of times, a lot of the men, you're unhappy. And so you drown your unhappiness with the substance. You drown your unhappiness with the alcohol. You drown your unhappiness with the weed, or you drown it with the coke. That you're not where you want to be in life. And so that bothers you. And so in order to not deal with it, or to not feel it, or to not have to deal with it, right? You abuse the substance. And I'm only saying that because that can definitely be a sign that there may be some mental health issues going on internally. There's I don't like saying mental health because it's not like you're going crazy, right? Not that you're going crazy, but there may be some issues underlying it. And look, I'm saying that because maybe you don't see it as that. Maybe it don't like maybe it don't register in your mind as that. But that is personal, internally violent and destructive behavior. That's a sign. That is a sign. And so the reason why I wanted to start with the signs and the symptoms and the triggers is because it's important that you start early looking for help. Like I would say this, they tell you that it's not manly to have emotions. I'm gonna tell you it's normal to have emotions, and you need somebody to talk to. Like I had my brothers, but how many fellas either don't have a brother or don't have a relationship with their brother enough to talk to him? You know what I'm saying? Or you surrounded by people who take advantage of vulnerability and weakness. And I got you. I feel you. The thing is to find somebody. If you gotta look as a man, bro, if you gotta find you a therapist, if you gotta get you like a male mentor or something, you gotta have somebody to talk to. And that's the thing. One of the reasons why we deal with it in silence, we struggle in silence, we fight it by ourselves because you know we don't have nobody to talk to. like you may not have nobody to talk to about it. You may not have nobody that you trust enough to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is this is why you gotta really like look for people, who are good just by being that. I noticed this, like, I ain't never been a thug or nothing like that. I ain't never been like a street type. I'm just from the hood. Like I'm a regular hood dude, right? Not claiming to be this street hood. Yeah, I ain't trying to be all that. But I did notice this, man. A lot of the guys who got into that, they had OGs. And the OGs was just somebody to talk to, not even just about the dope game or about selling weed or about the street life, just about simple stuff, talking to them about girls that, and this is what sometimes like preachers' kids, PKs get the bad rap because like for a man to be a preacher and you try to go talk to your dad about sex, he gonna give you this whole Bible spiel, and it's like, Pop, I don't need that. Like I need some, you know what I'm saying? I feel that 100%. And it's like, you don't have nobody to talk to, or you don't feel comfortable enough talking to somebody. And you know, I want to change the narrative, but it's important that you let somebody know, right? That you have stuff going on. And I realized that they had OGs. And bro, if you my age, this what we gotta do. We gotta find people. I started with my sons and my daughters, but mainly, not mainly, but I started with my sons, I started with my daughters. But the point for saying that is you gotta be an OG to somebody now. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta be an OG to somebody now. Like you gotta pass on that wisdom, and you gotta pass on like how to handle this emotion in a productive way. Like how to handle how you feeling in a way that's not gonna destroy your life in 10 years. Like know what I'm saying? Knowing how to handle all of the stuff that's going on without putting you on the path that's gonna destroy your life. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta be the OG to somebody. And that's the thing. Changing the narrative about, you know, people who, I mean, people who say that men are weak because they're having emotions. That's not a weak thing. And I say that because you don't want to let that be the reason that you struggle in silence. You don't want to let that be the reason you struggle in silence, bro. A lot of my guys have heart attacks. A lot of my guys have high blood pressure because they struggle in silence. I need to tell you this. And before we go to the steps how you can master your mentals, I had to learn, right? I had to learn how to overcome the difficult stages in my life and look for help. I had to look for help. And I found it most of the time. The rest of the time I had to just do what I could do. But this brings me to the first of the things that I'm going to share with you as to how to master your mentals. These are things that's going to empower you. The first thing is, because you have emotions. Emotions do not go away just because you forget them, or just because you have a drink today. That may make you feel better in the moment, but guess what? The emotions did not go nowhere. Like the weed is not gonna wipe your emotions away. That high is gonna go up, and but then it's gonna come back down. And whatever you got high to forget about, when you come back down, it's gonna still be there. I say that because you need something that's actually going to help you deal with, whatever you got going on, either here or here. And that's why I'm an advocate of the first thing, morning meditations. Get you a journal. I use a Bible or a scripture, but for sure, I got a journal and I write my prayers out. Bruh, you might think, just say, man, look, Marcus tripping. I'm telling you, the game changer for me was writing out. I started writing a journal. I started writing my prayers out, like talking to God on paper, writing it out. The reason why the reason why I started doing that was because I didn't know nobody else that I was around. I didn't know nobody else that was struggling the same way that I was. I didn't know nobody else who had the same pressures that I had. I didn't know nobody else who I could talk to, right? And who would give me some good sound advice. So I just started like I read it in the book one time about writing out your prayers to God. And I started doing it. I started doing it every day. And I noticed that as I was like, the more I was doing it, I started to it would make me like feel better. Like my morning meditations would always help me to like be aware of what I'm thinking, be aware of what I'm feeling, be aware of what I need to do to settle my mind in the mornings. And then I didn't realize it at the time, but writing it, putting it on paper, it gets it out, right? So, like when you write it, you get it out of your mind, you get it out of your emotions, you put it somewhere other than inside of you. That is one way that you start emptying out like the stuff that you hold in. That's one way to get it out. The number one way how you can start mastering your mentals is by morning meditations and journaling. I use the Bible. I use prayer. Maybe you don't believe in God like I believe in God. Maybe you don't. I definitely guarantee that if you start writing, just start writing. I guarantee you'll see over time. And look, I'll even go as far as to say this. If you don't believe in church, if you don't believe in Christianity or the Bible, or if you don't believe in none of that, I would tell you this. Look, start writing your prayers out, your frustrations, how you feeling about where you are in life, where you want to go in life. Just start writing them out and address them to my job. You start writing your prayers out. You gonna see like it's 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 a real power in that, bruh. Like it's a real power in writing your feelings on a piece of paper, keeping it where nobody can find it, nobody will ever see it, nobody will ever read it. I'm telling you, it works. One of the number one thing you can do to start mastering your mentals is a morning meditation, a morning journal, a morning prayer time, a morning time to just get your mind clear. Like, don't pick that phone up in the first thing in the morning. Like, get your mentals together, or have you a set time designated. You need to start setting aside time designated to just getting your mind right in the mornings. I say write it out. I say write it out. Write it out. Get it out of there. Here's my number two, and I say it all the time. Folk like get serious about a fitness journey. Get serious about a fitness journey. Why do I say that? Because sometimes as a man, we have testosterone, right? You think that testosterone come out because you watching your little porn video and you nah, you don't need to get that energy out like that, my G. You need to go to the gym. You need to sweat. You need to physically exert your body, not sex, physical exercise, jogging, walking, some type of resistance training. You need to do that. Why? It helps you to process and think. It helps you to get the energy out. Like you got a lot of that man energy and that testosterone, and you thinking you got to go smash. You got to squeeze one out or whatever. No, my brother. No, my brother. You need a fitness journey. Look down at your gut. Look. I'm gonna tell you this. Overeating is another one of them signs and symptoms, my brother. Eating too much is another one of them signs and symptoms, my brother. Sitting there stuffing your face is not going to help you in the long run. But if you exercise, this is one of those positive ways to get that extra energy out. If you frustrated, I'm gonna tell you some of my best workouts was days that I was woke up and I knew I was sad because me and my girl broke up. Days that maybe me and my girl was into it, or maybe me and my girl was going through a rough patch, or maybe I was like felt like stretched this way and that way because what was going on with the kids. I had to go to this school, I got this meeting, I got that, and then the behavior on this one is just crazy, and all of my kids, nothing. I had such great workouts going to the gym when I was frustrated, when I was sad, when I was upset, when I felt certain ways. And while you there, you couple that gym time with your morning meditation, my G. I'm telling you, it's a superpower. It's a superpower. Just them two things is a game changer. Exercising helps your mentals. Exercising helps your body, but it also helps your mentals. Look, you got to do those first two things, right? And look, this is very simple. Anybody can do this. But those two things that help you master your mentals. Now, here's a game changer for the next one. Look, you need to find you some mentors where you're going to say, well, I don't have nobody to talk to. I don't know nobody that I can talk to. I don't know no men in my life like that I can really just reach out to like that. Here's what I'll say. Mental mentors. You need mental mentors. It's a scripture in the Bible, and I'm not gonna say it verbatim, but it says, um, um, basically, you it's wise to have multiple counselors. Basically, it's a wise thing to have multiple counselors. Look, it didn't say that you had to know these people. What am I saying? I'm saying that one of the ways, right, that I started to grow my mentality, my mentals, is I started reading. John Maxwell is the GOAT to me. I'm sorry. John Maxwell, Stephen Covey, The Eighth Habit, Stephen Covey, The Seventh Habit. Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. By John Maxwell. Um, uh, Man, How Successful People Think by John Maxwell. Unlock the Leader Inside by John Maxwell. He the GOAT. But the point is, you need mental mentors. So while the first two, right, is about getting those emotions out, this one is about putting new thoughts in. Now get this. I heard this the other day. I was watching the show and it was the show was a regular show, but what he said was powerful. He said, "You go and get your oil changed every 3 months or every 3,000 miles, but you don't work to change the thoughts that come in and out of your mind." I was like, "Wow. That's called mental maintenance." Mental maintenance is, right? Getting out the old bad and putting in the new good. And you have to do that on a consistent basis. This is one of the ways that you master your mentals, by doing mental maintenance. You got to get those emotions out, but then you got to put thoughts in. You think, right, that just because you turn a certain age, like you go from like 20 to 30, by 30 you'll be smarter, you'll be wiser, but that's not true, bro. I know a whole lot of brothers that are old and are old fools because they still doing and thinking the same stuff that they've been doing and thinking for the last 20 years, and it ain't got them nowhere. You got to do your mental maintenance, my brother. The mental maintenance is getting the old thoughts out, putting the new thoughts in. That means you reading books, you finding personal growth books, you finding personal progression podcasts, you finding personal growth and progression videos on YouTube like mine. You got to do it for your mentals, my brother. You gonna see what'll happen to your car if you don't change your oil. What'll happen to your transmission if you don't change the transmission fluid? What'll happen? I want you to consider that when you stay stagnant or keep that bad stuff in your brain and in your emotions and all of that in your spirit, bro, you need a way to flush the old stuff out and put the new stuff in. Everything about your body is incoming and outgoing. The food you eat comes in, it takes the nutrients, but guess what? It got to come out. Drinking, the nutrients supposed to come in, the waste goes out. Look, inhale, you the good air comes in. I'm just telling you, the way that your mentals work, your emotions work, is you keep in the good, but then you got to release the stuff that ain't no good. You do that. The journaling, the exercising, that's to get the stuff out. The mental mentors, that's to get the stuff in. If you don't know what you feel like you need to know, there are a bunch of books, and they say this. I'm not going to say the quote, but I need you to get accustomed to reading, my brother. You see, all of my books, that's my baby library, and it constantly grows. You know why? If I'm not directly connected to a person that have the information that I need, I'm sure somebody that wrote a book on it. This book right here, Personal Finance. A total money makeover. When I tried to when I was ready to take my money from one level to the next level, I knew I needed to find mental mentors that would help me to get the right thoughts in, because everybody that I knew was broke. I couldn't get it from my mama. I couldn't get it from my daddy. I couldn't get it from my brothers at the time. I couldn't get it from my cousins. Wasn't nobody thinking on that level. I had to find me some mental mentors. That's a game changer, my brother. You need to find you some mental mentors. There are so many videos on YouTube. We got Google, we got Chat GPT, we got all of this AI. And most of the time, you use that for your entertainment, but not for your progression. I need you to hear me when I say this, my brother. You need some good mental mentors, people, books, information to get, like, put new thoughts in your brain. Like, my brother, that is a game changer. That's why you need to keep watching my show and find other shows like mine, because you need to be doing that mental maintenance. The mental maintenance is very important. Now, here's what I'll say. The fourth one, this is number 4. This is the man, this is the one. I saved the best for last. Your relationships. Look, you if you want to master your mentals, you have to be wise with your relationships. Your relationships matter. Pay attention to your friendship circles. What kind of friends do you have? Why do I say that? You don't recognize this, but your friends are mental influences. See, this is why I said you need mental mentors. And this whole process is the mental maintenance. But at the same time, your relationships matter because your friends become your influences. Have you ever heard this quote that says, you can tell what a man is going to be by looking at the 5 people who he's friends with, or something like that? You get what I'm trying to say. But it's true. Why? Because your friends are mental influences. Your friends can be distractions, or they can be people that help you focus. Your friends can help you be productive, or your friends can help you stay unproductive. Telling you that your friends can, if you choose the right friends, your friends can help you elevate your money, but the wrong kind of friends, you will always be broke. And look, you need to know that you got to have different levels. You got to have one set of friends for your mentals. You got to, if these friends ain't good for money, then you need to have another set of friends that's good with money. Then you need to have another set of friends that's good about relationships. What I'm saying to you is your relationships matter. Like, you gotta build your circle of friends. Maybe it's 2, maybe it's 1, maybe it's 3. I'm just telling you, they have mental influence. And if you build your circle of friends around good relationships, friendships, partnerships, they help you to go up. One of the things about mental health that you don't recognize, that your friends are such mental influences. You start to judge yourself based on their standards, the things that you're hearing all the time. And sometimes your friends are good friends, but they have bad standards. And you need to get you some new friends. You don't need to stop being their friend. Just get you some friends to help you, upgrade. Look, relationships. Your girlfriend, your wife, your spouse, your person, who you choose to be with, is going to matter tremendously. I'm going to tell you this, my brother. The wrong woman will always have your mental health at a low state, or at a sick state, unproductive and unhealthy. Let me say it like that. The wrong woman, the wrong person in your life, you will never reach or achieve your highest potential if you choose the wrong woman. That's why I say that number 4, that's a game changer. Your woman gotta be look. I heard TD Jake say this, and you may not agree with everything that TD Jake say, but when he said this, it was a game changer. He said, "Does your woman? You need to choose a woman that brings out the king in you and not the kid in you." You need to choose a woman that brings out the king in you and not the kid in you. I say that because your woman has such an effect on your mental health. The right woman, you will feel like you can conquer the world. The wrong woman to make you want to kill yourself. I hope you hearing when I say that, bro. That is a real thing. I've seen so many men not operating at their highest potential because of the woman that they choose to have in their life. And you don't realize it because she's such a mental influence. She's saying things to you. This is why you got to be. That's why I always say, look, my brother. You gotta go non. You gotta cut it off, bro. You gotta cut that. You gotta go non. No sex, because you need to see what she's going to be speaking to your mind. You need to see what kind of things she gonna be saying, like that's gonna be turning in your head. Is she gonna be speaking childish gibberish? Is she gonna be talking stuff that's gonna have your mind all in disarray and crazy? Is she gonna be saying something to make you think she finna go and do something with somebody else? And she gonna be saying stuff that's gonna be critical and things to pull you down and make you think negative and keep you distracted when you're really supposed to be focused on? Or is she gonna like empower you to be like, babe, we can do this, babe, we can, we can start this, we can work on this, we can build this, we can do this together? I'm just trying to get you to think about this, my brother. Your relationship matters. She can help you grow, or she can help bring you low. When it comes to mental health, my brother, who you choose to be with, that is probably one of the most important decisions you will ever make in your life. She can help you grow, or she can help bring you low. She can help you grow, or she gonna help bring you low. She will drive you crazy. She will drive you insane. She will break your mind. Don't let her do it, my brother. Don't let her do it, my brother. Okay? Don't let her do it. Now, look, I just need you to know this, and this is a real thing. We got to do this. We got to create, um, we got to create more supportive environments. We got to do this for each other, my brother. We got to create more supportive environments. What does that mean? Check in with your fellas, man. If you got brothers, check in with your brothers. Make sure they doing good. If you got cousins, check in with your cousins, your kids, man. Check in with them. See how they mentals doing. Don't just text them, say, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that. Nah. See how they doing, bruh. Like, check in. Check in. Normalize supportive environments. Normalize checking in with the men. To say, bro, we just gonna go and we just gonna talk. What is the thing that you really caring about right now? Like, what's the thing that really like make you feel like give you strong feelings and emotions right now? You know, and then see, are these good positive emotions, and see if this just check in. How your mentals, bruh? How you feeling? Like, you know what I'm saying? You good? You good? Make sure you checking in. You know what I'm saying? So look, that's it for the episode, bro. Like, look, send this to somebody, bro. We need to make sure we doing good, bro. Like, I see a lot of guys, man, checking out. A lot of men, we dying too early, bro. We losing it. You know what I'm saying? And we don't have to be doing that. Like, we got each other. We can start reaching out. So, you know what I'm saying? That's one of the reasons why I created this show. It's one of the things that I'm trying to do and build. Look, if you don't have nobody that you feel like you can talk to and you need a mentor, that's what I'm here for. You can definitely email me, Marcus Stewart at tgmchurch.org. I'm gonna leave it in the description box. So if you need somebody to have as a mentor, if you want to join our men's group, I have men's meeting once a week with a few guys. If you want to be a part of that, or if you looking for mentors, or if you just need new books to read, email me. I got you. All right. Send this to somebody that need it, man. And that's it for this episode, bro. I'll see y'all next week. Uh, Tell somebody about the show. If you've been watching, you enjoyed the show, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Let me know that you've been enjoying the show. With that, man, see you next week, brother.